How about everyone? In this new video I want to show you a comparison between a TV generic box and a Google certified TV box, no matter what brand it is, regardless of the device. Since this video goes equally for either of these two devices, first of all I will make it very clear to you, and I am only going to see a comparison of both aesthetics and functions, and which one is the best in each two fields, either say for certain advanced uses and also for price. And I must also make it very clear, is that all of this is going to be under my own personal opinion. Then with nothing more to say, start. The first thing I am going to talk about the presentation of the boxes, and it is that normally a TV box generic is going to have a cheap cardo, and it is going to have, let's say, much cheaper things. That does not mean that this is poor quality, simply because the presentation speaks for itself. And on the other hand, let's say first-class brands like Realme, Xiaomi, and all those who say Google TV, Google Assistant normally, because it has a much cleaner presentation, a higher quality cardboard can already be felt, and you can see the care given to it in the design. And obviously in unboxing, you will see that every product and every little thing is better explained. Each accessory is better made. And yet the TV box itself feels of higher quality, as it comes with the best adapted accessories, and the control itself that we are going to use it feels more ergonomic and feels of higher quality. Instead, the generic TV box, as I told you, cardboard feels much cheaper, and so the presentation of yes, it feels like they were doing it as fast as that, or so to speak as economical as possible, because there are certain parts that are not well made. But that does not mean that I know that is poor quality, and so do the cables and all that. In plastics it is noticeable. The quality itself, the packaging, and so it is. The presentation of the manuals now by itself, then with regard to the presentation of the boxes, takes it completely at all. Leading manufacturers, certified by Google, and well, now the second point is practicality. When connecting, in the case of the generic TV box, we need to connect the HDMI port to the current, connect the control, put some batteries, and with that it would work. And in the case of official branded TV boxes, already most, you can connect them directly to the TV via USB and connect it to HDMI. You aspire to control. And ready, it also worked. And with that they get a draw, because both are equally, and there is no difference per SE. The next point, SL software, interface and practicality in the software. In the case, certified by Google or with Android TV or Google TV, is the practically absolute winner, and by far, because of which it is a fairly nice interface, quite pleasant, highly optimized, and Google in this sense knows how to do things very well. The Play Store is very good. There are many applications, additional facilities required, except that, if you want to install Mogis or unknown applications like this, that is another matter. But the interface as such is quite complete, quite simple, and the good thing is that it allows you to do whatever you want. Then not to mention that it has Google Assistant, can speak by voice. Other than that, the applications are very well done. There is no emphasis on that. Can resolutions up to 8K if allowed? And that's a lot of things. So in the end, the interface in this kind of thing, wins it at all those who are certified by Google, and also come with the latest Android version or one from last year, and not counting that it receives security updates, and also updates of the Android itself, which are normally 2 to 3 years old, by manufacturer and by device and year. And in that sense, as I say, Google knows how to do things very well, and also has the Google Assistant function, can talk out of control. Also, many of the things have already improved, way behind Gemini, so I'm going to show you faster results, and we will see later what awaits us. Upcoming Google TV updates. Since it was previously called Android TV, Then, as I tell you again, the absolute winner takes it to Google Certificates. Instead, those of generic bots usually has an interface or startup made by Chinese software, and apart from that it comes with certain applications, pre-installed systems that we use. In fact, the application, Amazon Prime Video, or whatever you use, are usually web browsers, with the exception of YouTube. That's properly Android TVA. The Play Store itself. In many occasions the Android Play Store, common and ordinary, we use in the telephone, and it is rare is to say, one that comes with Android TV, and so, as it comes with other unknown applications, so that we can use free televisio, movies, videos, series, or whatever to suddenly, usually have a different application store, so that we can download a certain applications, but in many cases it will not work well for them, and the great disadvantage of this type of interfaces is that they are usually from past years or old versions of Android. For example, this is the one you are viewing on the screen, has Android 10, and so in that, this is a great disadvantage, because applications may be, and it remains useless. That does not mean that it is bad. Is simply one thing to keep in mind. I personally I like it, buy this type of TV box, because so I can easily install applications, I can customize them much easier. Thing that on Android TV, Google certified cannot do, and I recommend looking for 1.1 anyway. Most current versio, as I say a guy, the absolute winner gets it, Google Certificates, because it is much simpler, much more practical, much more in everything, but nevertheless, generic TV boxes can be made somewhat that Google's cannot be made, and is to customize it as a PC, with little money. Install applications to be as in desktop mode. You can also download games, as the specifications are far superior. Minimum usually come with 2 or 4 gigs of RAM, and also a good processor, and there are many little things that can be done to you. OT to mention that it can install Chrome or generic Android applications, and so the experience, let's say for a much more advanced user, will be much more fun, so to speak. Otherwise, in the case of Android TV, can also be made, but it is much more complicated than you imagine, as Google is looking for a way to, as an average user, we cannot install applications in APK and the like, and instead the generic can be made without any. The last point, the price. This is quite evident, since generic TV boxes are around between $8 to $20 approximately, and normally come with good features. But because Muddy is the operating system, and in the case of official by Google are already costing at least about $13 or $14 to about $50. But in the case of the realm, Xiaomi or those manufacturers, so you can get it out there in between $13 up to $18 or $20. Then the difference will not be abysmal and is quite affordable for any Mexica. Then let's say comparison between these two things. I would go for one certified by Google, without hesitation. Now the million-dollar question is whether or not it is worth buying a TV box, either generic or Google certified, and the truth is that yes, because today, there are many televisions and there are many devices that are not yet smart TV, and so with this kind of thing, can be easily converted, either to watch videos, either to transmit, either to play, or for whatever it is, the ME4. I recommend you to buy the certificates by Google, since the interface is quite pleasant, quite nice, and apart from that, it is going to be very complete. In case they cannot afford a certificate, a failure, it suits them well, but bearing in mind that it does not. Do not expect the same from a certificate. I use Oxygen, Amazon Prime Video, Disney Plus, etc., etc. For the rest, They are good, but better go to Google without hesitation. And how do I know if one is Google certified or not? It is usually quite simple. Most certificate manufacturers are usually Xiaomi, Google, Sony A of the year, brands that you know first class, and other than that, most will say Google TV. Or they will have the Google Assistant function, and so it is possible to account for it in the control. Instead, the heroes, as they usually, for very much that, but there you can see very clearly, DQ, are quite different, and so nothing. I hope that. I know it's very long, but I like this video. I think, which was the explicit enough for this kind of thing. And if you liked it, let me know with a like, subscribe active, the little bell at everyone's, and see you next time.